It's Mr. K back out here in my luxurious studio garage. No. So I was looking around online for ideas of what could I do for my next project, what would be a good video. I was looking around at some other videos, how do some other people do this, you know, how getting some ideas for how do I make my videos better. I started looking through the comments section on one video. This was like the top one on YouTube when you type in whatever it was that I was looking for. It's the #1 thing listed. Had over 2 million views, hundreds of thousands of comments. So I started looking through the comments just because I was curious. And about half of them that I read through talked about the first direction that the person in the video gave me was draw a circle. So I was out. I can't draw a circle. Literally half of them were freaking out because they couldn't draw the circle. And I thought, wow, this sounds just like a lot of the students in my art classes, my elementary school art classes. And these are grown-ups. So I realized there's some things, some just basic techniques that we need to talk about. Instead of worrying so much about the final product, we got to take a step back and just look at I'm going to look at 3 really simple techniques. They're going to help you out with your drawings. They're going to make it less frustrating, a lot more fun, and you'll get more out of it. So when you're in preschool and kindergarten, they're teaching you how to hold your pencil so that you can write. And they teach you how to hold it like this. Now, this is totally correct. You're going to grip it with those 3 fingers. Some people use these 2 fingers up top, that's fine. 3 fingers like this, you're down near the bottom. You're gripping pretty tightly. And this is absolutely perfect for writing. There's a problem though. It's not always the best way to draw. Whether you are writing or drawing, first thing you do need to do probably is loosen up. I see so many students, whether they were writing something, a paper in a classroom, or doing a drawing, they are gripping this pencil and squeezing it so tight like they're trying to squeeze like pencil lead out of the pencil. You don't need to. You can still hold on to it and still write or draw by loosening up your grip. You know how you start getting a cramp after you're doing a lot of writing? You write like a whole page. That's not a lot of writing, by the way. You write 2 pages and your hand starts to cramp up. It's not the teacher's fault, it's yours. You're squeezing it too hard. Lighten up. All right, now that you've kind of loosened your grip up, I'm going to show you one teeny tiny little hack that's going to make drawing so much easier, so much less frustrating for you. Okay, watch it. Look closely. All what you need to do is you take your pencil and you do this. That's it. That's the whole thing right there. Pull back maybe halfway. You do not need to grab it and pinch it by the eraser. I could never make a drawing like this. There's probably like 3 people in the whole world who could draw this way. Doesn't have to be that far back. You could grab it like this. You could even, depending on what you're drawing, you could grab it up on the top like this. Just whatever feels right to you for what you're drawing. This is going to lighten up the pencil. It's going to not make a really heavy line. You'll see why soon. And this is going to be the key. Pull way back on your pencil. So the other big thing about your grip is if you have your grip like, far back on the pencil like we're supposed to, but you still have your hand right on the table and try to you're too anchored. You only have this tiny little bit of space to move your hand around. What you need to do is get your arm and your hand up off of the table. Now, a lot of people try to do that like this and use just the very point of the pen. I can't draw like that. I don't know anybody that can draw like that. What you want to do is go ahead. Now, I have to get really low to film this. I'm in a chair that's ridiculously small for this table. You might even want to stand up. I'm going to stand and get your arm, get some space between your arm and your hand, and you can use your pinky as a little guide to, so you know where you're at. And go maybe 2 fingers even. And go ahead, try making some circles. There's no stress with this. You don't have to worry about it too much. It's easy, it's simple. It doesn't have to look like much. Now I've got a whole bunch of lines all over the place. I don't need all those. Now I can pull it back down and tighten that up. And since I drew so lightly, I can erase some of these super easy and nobody will ever know that they were there. So one of the biggest mistakes people make when they're working on a drawing is they think if they put that pencil or pen on the paper and make a mark, that has to be perfect and it has to be the finished product. Not really, no. You can. Lots of good drawings come out of doing something quickly, decisively, making a mark and being done. A lot of times, for most of your drawings though, you're going to need to work in what I like to call top-down layers. Now, does top-down mean that I gotta start everything at the top of the page and work all the way until I get to the bottom and then finish? No. When we say top-down, we mean we're gonna do some light sketches. We're gonna press lightly with the pencil. We're gonna just make some guides that you won't necessarily see later. If you draw lightly, you're going to be able to erase some of your guidelines a little more easily. Now, the thing is also about top-down, besides just top being kind of the high-level guidelines and working your way down to details. We'll show you what that is in a second. You're also going to work from the top down on your pencil. The more detail you're adding, the more, if it's just a rough sketch, you're pulled way back here. Like let's say you're making a circle. You can make a whole bunch of them. Just go around and around and around loosely, lightly, gently. And then as you start to add detail, maybe you're tightening it up a little bit, you can pull a little further down. Maybe you're adding some shading to it that needs to be a little more precise. You can pull even further down. You're putting a teeny tiny little mark in there. Now you're all the way down at the end where you usually are when you're writing, when you're getting really, when you're working precisely for letters and stuff. The more that it's a sketch, you're up here. The more it's a detail, you're down here, from the top down. There's another really super important reason why you want to press lightly with your pencil. On these guidelines, you don't want to push hard because if I push really hard with my pencil, it will actually dent the paper and make a little groove in the paper. If I want to erase that later on, I'm going to see that dent. And if I color over it, I'm going to see a little spot where the pencil won't go in because the paper's dented. You're just kind of skimming the top of the paper. So ease up, lightly press on your paper. Now our third technique for making drawings easier for you is if you're drawing something from your imagination, like the sphere, we weren't looking at a ball while we did that, we were just drawing a circle and kind of coloring it in a little bit. That's different. You don't really need this one for this. But if you're trying to draw something from, from a person sitting in front of you, let's say, or from a picture of a person, I have a picture of I'm going to draw a picture of my daughter when she was 3.5 years old. She's 14 now, but oh my gosh, look at those cheeks. Anyway, so what you want to do if you are trying to make something look a bit more realistic and drawing from life or from a picture, look at your subject. That sounds obvious. Oh, that's easy. I do that already. Look at your subject more than your paper that you're drawing. How is that possible? The more you do it, the easier it gets. The more you really focus on what it is that you are drawing, you're not going to fall back on what we would call symbols. If you're drawing an eye, a lot of times people will just draw an eye. What they think an eye looks like. Not what that eye looks like, what they think it looks like up here. If you're drawing a nose, people will just draw a nose. So oftentimes it's an upside down 7. Okay, that's fine. Now a lot of drawings, that's perfect. They look great that way. Having it be symbolic and not very realistic, it looks really cool sometimes. But if you're trying to actually make something look where the proportions are correct, where you are looking for to make it more realistic, Look at your subject. So as I'm starting to draw this picture of my daughter here, I'm going to use my proper grip. I'm going to get my arm off of the table. And I'm going to be really focusing on what are the angles. Where is something coming in straight up and down? Is it coming in at a bit of an angle? Her face is kind of angled here, so I want to show that. What are the proportions? Is the hand, you know, as big as the face? Is it bigger? Is it smaller? What is it? You know, how much her shoulders covering a little bit of her chin in this because she's reaching across. How much chin should I show? So really focus on some of those details, and you can put them in lightly in here. You can just put a line really lightly pulling back. You can just put a line for the arm and then fill in around it afterwards. So when you're looking at this, you're going to find some relationships, and you might realize that's not exactly the way it looks on the picture. If you're trying to make it look like something else, don't be afraid to go back and shift something around. Oh, hey, you know, the hand needs to be closer over here. It needs to be further away over here. The fingers need to be a little bit longer. The lighter you do this, the easier it is to fix. If you press really hard, you're going to be able to see the old lines. You can't really fix it up, and you're stuck with it. So lighten up, gently do your drawing, and relax and have fun with it. So there you have it. Grip, work in layers, look at your subject more. Those 3 simple steps are going to help you make your drawings much more enjoyable, a whole lot less frustrating, and hopefully a little bit better. But just because I'm calling them simple doesn't mean that they're necessarily easy. These are things you're going to have to work at. It's going to take mostly more than effort. It's just going to take some time to get used to them. Holding your pencil way back here feels really weird. It seems kind of wrong. It's hard to get used to. You got to find the right grip for it. Or where you're standing or sitting. You know, do I want to hold back here? Do I want to grab it like this? It will just take you some time to figure out which way you're going to do it, how it feels natural, and to just get used to it. So go ahead and loosen up, lighten up, let those lines flow, and go have some fun making some drawings. Hey, thanks for watching. And if you're enjoying this one, you might want to go a little bit deeper on this. Be sure and check out my video on how to kind of get your right mindset for doing artwork. Also, if you like what you're seeing, go ahead and hit subscribe down below, and I'll see you next time.